I'm going to put some shelving along here. All starts with a trim like this one to protect the sharp edge here, and it gives me something to hang the shelves off. So I've got a couple of bits of wood here which will simply go up like this. And I can join them together with this nail plate thing. So I've got this ready to go in, got it stuck together with a little nail plate, and I've pre-drilled the holes out to 4.5 mils here to give a tight fit, not quite clearance on my screws. These screws here, and 3 mils into the steel. The steel ribs I'm screwing into here, and they run, I don't know, about every metre or something down the length of the bus. And they're easy to spot because I've screwed the roof to them. So if I look at this row of screws here, that's where I'm going to be. Now I'm still using these Buildex self-drilling, self-tapping screws. Because I know of their shortfalls now, I always pre-drill. So I drill out to just a bit smaller than this, and drill a hole in the wood just a bit smaller than this, so that it's all a tight fit, but I don't have the problems with the screw pulling the wood away from the surface while it's trying to drill through the steel, and the whole thing goes together a lot faster, a lot cleaner. So on the original test shelves, I used these little bits of angle at the back which can screw straight into the roof of the bus, and a bit of bent aluminium bar, just, well, partly because I knew I'd need to adjust it. I wasn't sure exactly what height I wanted, and a simple way to adjust it would be simply to bend that, as I've done. Actually required a lot more adjustment than I thought, because I had it at 90 degrees to the sides, which of course are not vertical. Anyway, now that I know the size, I might be able to do something a little easier to attach. Now I reckon these will do. They're actually just a piece of a table slide from my granddad's old table. Thanks, Granddad. So they should do nicely. Now, the only question then is, how do I attach them to that? And my favourite answer, pocket holes. I think it's time to drill some more pocket holes. So if you're not already familiar how it works, that's 32. Set this to 32. Set the drill stop to 32. And that's it in a nutshell. Clamp the piece of wood in. In this case I'm going to use these two close together holes. So I will drill it in there and there, leaving the drill will come through on a nice angle, leaving me a perfect hole. Ah, look at that cute little row of pocket holes. So it's these screwed in. I think 3 ought to be more than enough to hold this shelf. So now to attach the shelf. The shelf is going to sit a little like this, with this little bracket here bolted directly to the bus, and then the shelf screwed to it. Now what that means is, because there's a small lip here, the bracket needs to sit just out from the shelf by around about 9 mils. Bit of no more nails, couple of screws, and they'll be fitted. So a bit of 9mm ply makes a great spacer. Chuck on a backing board and I have this held in the right spot. Some no more nails, couple of screws, and we're done. Now by no more nails I simply mean construction adhesive. This one is, actually I have no idea what this one is, but it was very cheap. So it was very cheap, sets rock hard, and it was almost impossible to get apart, as I've found on something I put together wrong. Now behind here is the cavity that the window sits in. Now it's got a rubber seal around the top, but just to be sure, a little dab of sealant around the holes before I put the bolts in. And here we are, all done. So I've simply screwed up from underneath. I'll worry about hiding those screws later if necessary. I have 4 supports holding this end because if it should fall down it'll land on her head on the couch, but only 3 holding this because if this falls down it's just going to land on the bench. Fact is, neither of them are going to fall down anyway. It's all screwed and glued, and got a little nail plate here, just making sure that this edge remains flush. Time to make some drawers. So thanks for watching, really appreciate that you did. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if so, hit the buttons, you know, the like and subscribe and the bell and all those buttons, hit all of them, and hopefully that will mean we'll see you again soon. Take care, mā te rā.